Hey guys, how's it going? Vince with Boomer Electronics here. Today I have a Super Nintendo lot that I picked up. It was listed as not working, no power. So here's the Super Nintendo itself. Looks like a little burn here or something. Plastic's a little warped, but a little chip back here. Overall though, for a Super Nintendo shell, this one looks like it's in pretty decent shape overall. Then I got all this other stuff with it too. I mean, it pretty much comes with everything. 2 controllers, a power brick, AV cables, and even an RF adapter. So yeah, pretty cool little pickup. So I did take a quick look at this, and it has no power. So the first thing I decided to do off camera was test the power supply, and let me show you what that looks like here. So I'm just gonna plug it in here. Give me a second, get this rubber band off. Alright, kind of show you where I am now. So power brick's plugged in, cat's having a great time. So we're plugged in. These things are center pin negative. Make sure my multimeter's in view. We're on checking for DC voltage here. So get the black probe in the center there. So yeah, we're measuring about 2.6 volts. So that's probably why this thing wasn't getting any power to begin with. Most likely the capacitor in this thing's failed. Kind of happens after all these years. So let me show you how to get these apart and check that hypothesis out. So these Super Nintendo power bricks, you need a very strange oval bit to actually unscrew them. Console 5 sells one that works with these. I've used it myself in the past and I know it works. I'll link that in the description. So I do have a iFixit tool set with quite a few bits, and I looked around, and this one, although not made for it, it does work to remove it. I have no idea what type of bit this is. It's some kind of fork one. It's numbered 8, but I did a little checking off camera, and this does kind of go around it and unscrew it, as I'll show you here. Not made for it, but I have, it's not like I'm going to be using this bit for anything else. I have no idea what it's for, so may as well use it for this, right? So yeah, it's coming loose. Yep, took it off. Man, look at that. So I'll go ahead and get the other one out, then I'll show you on camera me checking the ESR, the capacitor, and all that. So I have the power supply disassembled here, as you can see. Before working on any power supply, I always like to discharge the large filter capacitor. Since this one happens to only be 16 volts, I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose pliers I have here. Yeah, this type of power supply isn't really that dangerous to work on, but yeah, it's just good practice in general. Once you start getting into the power supplies that are built into the consoles, you have to be pretty careful. So yeah, safety first. So anyhow, I was going to do an ESR test, but there's really no point. I mean, I know the capacitor is just gone on this. That's a 99% chance that's the case. So this is a 4700 microfarad 16 volt capacitor. I don't have any here with me that can replace this. My brother should have a few of these, I believe. So I'm gonna go to his place this weekend, probably tomorrow, and grab one from him and put it in here. So yeah, once I get that, I'll show me replacing this one and see how the SNES is faring after that. So yep, stay tuned. Yeah, so I was able to retrieve a 4700 microfarad 25 volt capacitor for my brother today. Size profile should be good enough to fit back in the shell, so I'm going to go ahead and solder this onto the power supply here. So it looks like part of the pad for the positive side tore off here. I do believe it is making connection to the board, so it should be okay. I'll verify with my multimeter this is connected, but yeah, I'll just go do that and then put it back in and see how it's looking. I verified with the multimeter that it was making a connection to the board here for that capacitor leg, so we should be good there. So now I'm going to check and see if we're actually getting the correct output voltage here. So I'm just plugging in the power supply. Alright. Make sure this is viewable. Yep, looks good. So center pin negative. And there you go, 13 volts. So yep, good as new. So this should be good to go now. I actually got the Super Nintendo right here, so let me actually just plug this in here and see if we get a red light. I haven't even tried to power this on whatsoever yet because the power supply was bad off the bat, so let's see. Oh, look at that. Red light. So, might be in business with this. I'll get this set up to my monitor and see if this actually just works. So yeah, let me get set up for that and I'll check it out. I have the SNES hooked up for testing here. I'm using the repaired power brick, the composite cables that came with the SNES. Looks like that one needs plugged in more. There we go. So that's running to a composite to HDMI converter that's hooked up to my monitor. And then I have one of the controllers that came with the lot hooked up. So I'm gonna see how this works. The burn-in test cartridge is in here. It's a reproduction, just to be clear. So go ahead and turn it on. Yeah, it takes a second for the signal to get to the monitor. But yeah, it looks like it works here, which is good. So I'll go ahead and just run the burn-in test here. So look, okay, it looks like the controller's at least partially working. Okay, let's see if this passes everything here. Yeah, looks good. I'll let it run through this and make sure it looks okay. And just to be clear as well, this test here, the Super Nintendo could pass this test and still have a bad CPU. I've actually run into that in the past. So I am going to do some other tests with different cartridges off camera just to make sure there's no issues. But yeah, outside of that, I'm gonna have to take apart the Super Nintendo, clean it out, and see if any of the capacitors inside it should be changed. So I'll go ahead and start working on that. I'm in the middle of cleaning out the shell. I actually already washed the shell out. I have all the pieces over there air drying right now. So looking at this motherboard, this is actually a one-chip version. If you know much about Super Nintendos, this is one of the more desirable models. Since this is a desirable model, I'm going to go ahead and do a full recap and just not even really question it. So, yep, I'm going to get what I need together and get this recapped, so I'll be right back with that footage. As you just saw, recap the whole system. I'm just running the burn-in test again here. I mean, everything's checking out. Off camera, I ran a couple other games that'll have issues if there's a CPU problem, and they both ran completely fine. Console and the controllers have all been cleaned. I also tested the RF off camera. That's also working without an issue now. So yeah, this thing looks like it's ready to go. So I'll get it listed here on my eBay store in a little bit. I hope you learned something, and take care.